Today, we'll be making... Hey, look, you shapeshift into a dead guy. I think not. I'll tell Miss Pauling you're busy. Today we'll be making the dead ringer from TF2.
These are things you'll need: cardboard, box cutter, spray paint, X-acto knife, super glue, coat hanger wire, black acrylic paint, titanium white acrylic paint, burnt sienna acrylic paint, raw sienna acrylic paint, true blue acrylic paint, sky blue acrylic paint, paintbrush, silver sharpie, gold chain, Mod Podge, and a sponge brush. Started out by drawing the shape of the dead ringer onto a piece of cardboard, using the lid of a spray paint can to get that perfect circle, and then drawing the little nub that's on top. Then I cut it out with a box cutter. Then I traced the shape of that piece onto some cereal box cardboard. And then cut it out with an X-acto knife. Then I used the lid off a Mod Podge container to trace a circle in the middle of the cardboard. And I cut it out with an X-acto knife. Then I cut out another detail piece, the only difference being I made the little nub on top thinner. Then I cut out a circle the same diameter as the previous pieces out of some cardboard. Then I cut a ring that will go on top of that out of cereal box cardboard. Then I made this detail piece out of cereal box cardboard, just cut out a circle, and I used an X-acto knife and a hole punch to make those 3 holes. Then I couldn't find my box of tiny hinges, so I made my own hinge out of a pineapple juice can and a toothpick. Then I glued the hinge onto the main body and the lid of the dead ringer using super glue. Then I glued on that first detail piece with the wider nub on top onto the main body of the dead ringer. Then I glued that second detail piece with the smaller nub on top of the first detail piece. Then I glued that ring onto the inside of the lid. Then I glued on that circular detail piece with the 3 holes in it onto the inside of the lid as well. I made the top of the dead ringer that connects to the chain by bending some coat hanger wire around a screw, and then I glued that into the top of the main body. And off camera, I covered up the corrugation with cereal box cardboard. And I also made the button on top by wrapping a strip of cereal box cardboard around a cut down piece of bamboo skewer. Then it was time to paint. First I hit it with a flat gray primer coat on both sides. Then I painted it gold using some gold spray paint. Then I masked off everything but the screw and the button and painted it silver. Then I painted the inside of the lid with some burnt sienna acrylic paint mixed with a little bit of black to make it a nice dark brown color. And it did take multiple coats to get a nice full color. Then I painted the circular detail piece with white acrylic paint with a little bit of raw sienna just to make it a nice off-white color. Then I moved on to the watch face, where I painted a black ring using black acrylic paint. I did this because I divided up the watch face into sections so that it'd be easier to paint on the details later. And once that dried, I used a silver sharpie to draw on the silver details. Then I made a smaller black ring inside the first one using black acrylic paint. And then once that dried, I used a silver Sharpie to draw a circle that connected all the previous silver details. Then I painted that inner circle using a mixture of sky blue and true blue acrylic paint. And then I used some black acrylic paint to clean up the edges and to make the segmented display. Then I moved on to the details on the front of the lid, first by drawing the details out using a pencil, and then using a mixture of azo yellow orange and raw sienna acrylic paint to trace over those pencil marks. I first started out with the bird, and then I moved on to the circular pattern that goes around the bird. And then after that dried, I covered all the acrylic paint with a layer of Mod Podge, not only to protect the paint, but also to give the inside a shinier look, to look kind of like a screen. And while I was doing this, I remembered to dab the sponge brush over the Mod Podge to cover up any brush strokes. And then once that dried, it was done. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I think I could have added more details with more layers of cereal box cardboard, but overall I think it's pretty good. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.